Good evening, you're watching Estuary News, I'm Hugh Riches. In the headlines tonight, plans for the future of Hull's Lord Line building are rejected, a student suffers racial abuse in Lincoln, and honouring Hull's B-Lady Jean Bishop with a special award. And later in tonight's programme, I'll be talking to Stephen Parry and Lewis Barron about taking to the wheel around Europe for charity. And before that, our good old friends Alec and Audrey Gill on Tying the Knot. Plans to turn the Lord Line building in Hull into a new leisure development have been rejected by Hull City councillors this afternoon. There were plans to turn the heavily vandalised building on St Andrew's Dock into a new restaurant, cafe and ice cream parlour. Council officers said the site has considerable safety and security issues and has been a hotspot for youthful misbehaviour in recent years. The building was saved from demolition last year by campaigners who said demolishing it would cause substantial and unjustified harm to the heritage of the city. The MP for Great Grimsby says Grimsby Hospital is being forced to spend nearly £50,000 a month on visas for foreign doctors instead of investing the money in patient care. Speaking during Prime Minister's Question Time today, Melanie Onn said the situation was a waste of taxpayers' money and is preventing people from accessing the doctors they need. Theresa May, the Prime Minister, said the government was aware of the situation and was looking at ways to address it. A special ceremony was held in Hull today to officially honour Hull's B-Lady. Jean Bishop was awarded the British Empire Medal for her services to charity in December, having raised nearly £120,000 for Age UK over the last 2 decades. Our reporter Jack Muscat joined in today's celebrations and brings us a story.
A member of Hull royalty has been honoured in a special ceremony in Hull today. Jean Bishop, known locally as the B-Lady, has raised thousands for Age UK across several decades. CEO of the charity, Pam Davies, explains more.
We're celebrating Jean, the B-Lady, finally receiving a British Empire Medal. We've campaigned for years. We think about 15 years for her to get an honour from the Queen. So today is a very special day. She won the National Age UK Volunteers Award 2 years ago, and she received her award from Barbara Windsor. And it was quite funny because they're both the same height. They're both really tiny. And Barbara took her shoes off so that she was the same height as Jean. But I think it's just when she won the Pride of Britain Award, it just seemed to make her an international celebrity, and we were getting messages from all over the world for her, and we still do now. Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, it's beyond my expectations. I can't say how proud because there isn't a word for it. I think it's lovely, and I just don't know what to aim for next. I think this is the top of the crop. It's absolutely lovely. It is. I haven't got over it. I don't think it's sunk in yet. No, I just don't know. I can't explain it because it's out this world. I love Age UK. I try and collect all what I can to help them. And it goes to all the old people and that, and me as well.
We're a standalone charity supporting older people aged 50 plus across Hull and East Riding. And you know, it's very difficult running a charity. There's not a lot of money around. We're very lucky that we have a fantastic building here that we can run services from, but it takes a lot of upkeep. So the money that Jean's raised over the years has really helped us keep this place going, and also employing staff as well. It's really helped towards that. She's just such a lovely lady. I'm really honoured to call her my friend. She's funny, she's got the sharpest sense of humour, and we have a bit of a joke. She runs the knit and natter group, and there's a lot more nattering than knitting goes on in the group, so I have to go in and sort them out. But I'm just thrilled for her today, absolutely.
Jean has raised just shy of £120,000 for Age UK in Hull. After receiving her British Empire Medal today, and at the ripe old age of 96, will she continue fundraising for charity?
Definitely. Oh, there's no stopping. I've got to really keep on the ball and keep going because I want to raise me 200,000. So I've got to keep going, no matter what.
It's fair to say the Bee Lady won't be buzzing off anywhere soon. The Hull institution clearly won't be stopping as she continues to raise both money and a smile for what is an important cause. Jack Muscat, Estuary News.
A bell has been installed at Castle Hill Hospital in Cottingham to mark the end of patients' radiotherapy treatment. The end of treatment bell was donated to the Queen's Centre for Oncology and Haematology in May and has already been heard dozens of times. Radiotherapy staff are now looking to raise funds to cover the cost of another bell, which will be used to help patients at a different hospital. One of the last patients to ring the bell was 72-year-old Stephen Buckley from Bridlington to mark the end of an 8-month fight against prostate cancer. Lincolnshire Housing Partnership is recycling its uniforms. The uniforms bear the branding of the housing provider's former title, Shoreline. Rather than throw the clothes away, the company is recycling them for the charity Women's Aid. Murray MacDonald, Chief Executive of LHP, says the recycling is all about LHP's commitment to being a social landlord.
Well, it used to be Shoreline and Boston Mayflower, both organisations donating their used protective clothing to Women's Aid. So as an organisation with over 300 staff, that many of whom are out and about delivering repairs and maintenance every single day, we get through an awful lot of uniforms, and this was a real good opportunity to refresh those and get the new company liveried up and ready to go. But the last thing we want to do is add to landfill. So we were really pleased to be able to work with Women's Aid, who as an organisation managed to raise funds by recycling those clothes into productive use rather than us just paying somebody to stick them in a hole in the ground. Well, once we've done the uniforms, and hopefully you've seen the signs on our buildings, we're really working hard to make sure our website's now up to date and for our tenants to be able to come on and do their normal business in Lincolnshire Housing Partnership branded website with functionality that works for them. But we're not a company that's about spending money on logos and brands. This has very much been done in-house by our expert in-house team. It's about getting value for money. We are a social landlord and we want to spend our money on the things that matter to our tenants. But of course we want to look right while we're doing that.
Now, I'm joined by good old friends here at Estuary TV, Alec Gill and Audrey Dunn, who have tied the knot after 32 years together. Alec, Audrey, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in. And congratulations. Getting married after 32 years. Are you such creatures of impulse?
Like to rush things in Yorkshire.
What made you... Well, actually, I suppose I should ask you, Alec. What made you actually finally pluck up the courage to ask the question?
Well, from time to time over the years, we've actually proposed to each other at different times, but never accepted.
Refused.
No, deferred the answer. Taking a rain check on the wedding proposal.
Seems such an expense, really.
Well, procrastination is a thief of time, isn't it? I think we've got some photographs of the big day and of the honeymoon.
Right.
Audrey, what made you say yes finally after all this time?
Well, we'd been on Radio 4 and they'd asked me why I didn't want to get married, and I said, well, I liked the feeling of being a single woman, and I always had. I liked my independence, and it was hard won, and so that was my answer. But then after that, we were persuaded by a crew who came to do some filming of Alec that we really should get married, and in fact, it was suggested we might like to go on the Orient Express for our honeymoon.
So the whole wedding was just an excuse to go on a holiday.
Correct.
Yes.
And the Orient Express. But then I did some research on the internet and found the shocking prices, didn't we, Audrey?
Oh, £5,000 each.
Each.
And you
Single.
only go to Vienna.
You don't
even get to Istanbul.
Nowhere near.
But you did have a honeymoon, and you went
by train.
And you went by train to a wonderful, great European capital. Audrey, where did you go?
Berlin, yes. It was marvellous. It was just lovely. And we went by train and boat. And I must say we had a club cabin on the boat, and they upgraded it to the best cabin.
Oh, that's very stylish.
That was very nice. They weren't very busy that day. I think they were, and it was such a lovely crossing, and I do recommend it. And then we caught the train and went over the Dutch-German border, which made me realise how strange it is being an island and how large.
Let's not get into that issue. That's a little bit live at the moment.
It is, right.
Alec, what's it like? You've been an independent, carefree bachelor for so many years, and now you've got the ball and chain.
Oh, oh no, it's the loveliest ball and chain ever, really. I mean, who would want to be tied to anybody else but Audrey Dunn?
Thank you, darling.
Yes. But no, it just seems strange.
Really, you two.
On a settee as well.
Yes.
But no, 32 years. It can't be true, really, because you've got to pinch yourself sometimes, because I only feel as if I'm 21 inside. You know what I mean?
Well,
So-
you look no more than 22.
No, thank you very much, my friend, for
Right.
life.
Good.
So what was the day like, Audrey, itself? Where was it and when was it? I don't even know when to send you an anniversary card.
Well, it was at the Guildhall because I wanted to get married
In
at
Hull?
the Charter.
The
Yes,
5th of
in
May.
Hull, at the Charterhouse Chapel, which is a very beautiful chapel belonging to the Almshouses Charter House in Hull, and it's a very special place.
They're not licensed for marriages, so you went to the
No
Guildhall.
licence for marriage.
And was it a good day, big party?
Beautiful sunshine.
Oh, a small party.
No, we kept it small.
Yes, it was
just
a
for the
small
legal
party
side.
at the Old English Gent, who did us very well with a lovely buffet.
Congratulations to you both. It's very happy news. There's hope for us all, and thank you very much for coming in as ever.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Join me after the break. Jack will bring us a roundup of all the latest sports news, and Stephen Parry and Lewis Barron will be telling me about raising funds for a cancer charity behind the wheel. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, Jack brings us a roundup of all the latest sports news, and I'll be talking to Stephen Parry and Lewis Barron about driving for charity. Work to improve the Peaks Lane junction near Grimsby starts next week. The scheme will see the introduction of an additional lane on Peaks Lane in New Waltham on the northern approach to the junction with Hewitts Avenue. The traffic lights will also be upgraded and a shared footpath will be introduced for cyclists and pedestrians to improve safety. North East Lincolnshire Council says queuing times on Peaks Lane will be reduced once the improvements are made. Work starts on Monday and is expected to take 12 weeks. Demolition work has started on Scarborough's Futurist Theatre. Scarborough Borough Council decided to bulldoze the building last year at a cost of £4 million, despite a long battle with campaigners to save it. Campaigners wanted it to run as a charitable trust, but the local authorities said it was no longer viable as an entertainment venue. The Futurist opened in 1921 as a cinema, but the stage was extended in the 50s to host live performances. The site is earmarked to become a new attraction from the Flamingo Land known as Flamingo Land Coast. An array of entertaining vehicles will be on display this weekend as part of the East Yorkshire Thoroughbred Car Club's 50th East Coast Car Run. The 30-mile run will start from East Park on Holderness Road in Hull at 9:30 in the morning, heading onto the A165 to Sowerby Fields, where the cars will be displayed from noon. The event will include military and emergency vehicles, old buses, classic cars and tractors. And that's on Sunday at Sowerby Fields in Sowerby. And just a quick update on a story we covered yesterday. A collection of chocolate bars, more than 100 years old, were sold for more than £3,000 at auction yesterday. The bars were found in a tin belonging to First World War Leicestershire Regiment soldier Richard Bullimore. The colony's gift tins were given to troops serving in France as a gift at Christmas 1914. Just one of the 10 bars had been eaten. Three men united by a fight against cancer are taking on a challenge by driving across 12 countries in 7 days with an old banger car used to raise money for charity. I'm joined now by two of them, Stephen Parry and Lewis Barron, to tell me more. Welcome, both of you. Thanks very much for coming in.
Cheers, thank you.
So, was it 12 countries in 7 days?
Yeah.
And in a fairly uncomfortable car?
It could be, yeah.
I think it probably will be. Lewis, just first of all, tell us which charity you're raising money for.
It's for Macmillan Cancer Support. So, as you said, each one of us have been affected by it in some way or another. On behalf of my girlfriend, stepmom and grandfather, who have both recently had cancer. The third party of us, Jono, who's not here at the minute, he's working today. He was diagnosed with cancer 2 years ago and is now in respite for it.
And you've got a connection, Steve, as well?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, my dad also suffered from leukemia. Thankfully now, though, he's in remission, so I'm quite happy about that. So.
And with all your friends and connections, family that you've had that have been touched by this disease, has Macmillan been helpful?
Yeah, the nurses have been there, especially with John O, to help him, with him being at such a young age. Obviously, for somebody to go through things like that at that age could be quite difficult. So they've been a big help for him, and he's the main reason we chose that charity.
Well, you're certainly taking the initiative here, aren't you? Whose idea was it to raise money by driving, Lewis?
Well, originally it was Steve's. I was on holiday at the time, and I just got a message saying, we've all talked about doing this. Here's an opportunity to do it, and why don't we make it a bit more special by trying to raise as much money as we can as possible for charity.
So it's not just a jolly, it's not just a jaunt. You're a disciplined, structured timetable here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Steve's produced a vigorous schedule that we have to meet by.
Well, Steve, what is that vigorous schedule? Just take us through this marathon tour de Europe.
Yeah, so 7 days, we've got 12 countries altogether. We have to get ourselves to France for 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so we'll be setting off here early hours in the morning to make sure we get there in time. And then the journey takes us through Belgium, Luxembourg into Germany, a stop over in Germany for the night. We travel down to Switzerland, and then from Switzerland through Liechtenstein in Austria to northern Italy, through to Slovenia, Croatia, and up to Hungary via Slovakia as well. So it's a bit of a trek.
It's a sort of a tour of modern Europe, isn't it? It's not so long ago it would be impossible to go into some of those countries. But, well, I would say you're going to have a fantastic time and a wonderful adventure, but you're not really going to be able to enjoy the scenery or sit and have a leisurely dinner in the Tyrol or anything like that, are you?
No, we have deadlines, but we have to meet up at next point, so it's a case of we wake up on that morning, get our time and destination, and we've got to be there. But obviously, it's not just us that are doing it. There are countless other teams that are going to be taking part in the rally as well. So people will have various designs for different cars and things like that. So it gives us an opportunity to talk to people as well and see other people's backgrounds and why they're doing it, if they're doing it for the same reason. So you'll be sort of ticked off at checkpoints, as it were, as you go around? Yeah.
So this is being organised by a structured organisation, as it were?
Yeah.
OK. All right. How's your languages?
Well, English is good.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
But no, I think Google Translate will certainly help us out a little bit.
How about you, Steve?
Since school, I've not touched any other language, so we'll have to call back on our GCSE days.
It's all right. Everybody speaks English anyway. What sort of car is it? I called it, maybe a bit rudely, I called it an old banger. As I introduced
I'd agree.
you, but you'd agree with me. What is it, Steve? What's the car?
It's an MG ZS. It's just over 14 years old. So MGs aren't renowned for being the most reliable car, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge to make sure it gets there.
Just to remind me, I think of MGs, I think of Spitfires, open-top cars with only 2 seats. No, it's not that, is it?
No, it's a 4-door saloon car, so it's not quite a 2-door convertible that you'd like to tour around Europe in. So.
If people want to make a donation and want to sponsor you, want to get help with money, how should they do it?
Well, we've got a Facebook page, so they can have a look at that and keep up with live updates. We also have a Just Giving page as well. And
okay, so what should people Google if they want to find you?
Is it Just Giving?
Just Giving /fundraising/Team GYB. So.
Team GYB.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a little bit of if you do give some money, you get to decorate the car.
Yeah. So everybody that donates towards the cause will have their name put onto the car as a gesture of thank you for donating towards the charity.
A decal. Gentlemen, I quite envy your trip. Bon voyage, which is the French for have a good trip.
Thank you very much.
You.
Here's Jack with all the sports news.
Hull City have announced 2 of the teams they'll be playing during their pre-season preparations. First up, the Tigers will head to the Crown Oil Arena to take on League One side Rochdale. Dale narrowly avoided relegation from the 3rd tier last season, finishing 1 place and 1 point above Oldham, who occupied the final relegation spot. The friendly match will take place on Saturday the 21st of July with a kick-off time of 3 o'clock. And 3 days later, Nigel Adkins' side will entertain Premier League club Newcastle United at the KCOM Stadium. Rafa Benitez guided the Toon to 10th in the top flight, Newcastle's highest position since the 2013-14 season. The two clubs last met in the League Cup in November 2016, with Hull winning 3-1 on penalties after drawing 1-1 after extra time. This upcoming pre-season match on Tuesday the 24th of July has a 7:45 kick-off time. Meanwhile, Scunthorpe United have awarded one of their trainees with his first professional contract. 18-year-old George Hornshaw has put pen to paper on a 1-year deal with an option for another 12 months. The young midfielder joined the Iron in 2011 at under-12 level after being spotted playing for a Hull City side against Scunthorpe. He made his senior debut in United's Checkatrade Trophy game against Leicester City's under-21 side and was voted man of the match. Meanwhile, Grimsby Town have also secured the services of one of their most promising young players. The 19-year-old Harry Clifton has signed a 3-year deal, keeping him at the Mariners until 2021. The midfielder played 8 of the 10 games Michael Jolly has been in charge of, helping the club to steer clear of the League 2 drop zone. Grimsby-born Clifton came through the club's academy system before signing his first professional deal with the club at the tender age of just 17. Last week, I caught up with Michael Jolly and asked him whether he's trying to imprint his own philosophy on the club.
Well, I think when I first joined, I said philosophy is a dangerous word when you're fourth bottom of League Two. I think it probably still is at the moment because it's very, very early days in terms of putting the squad together, and it's unlikely we're going to get the perfect dream squad in one transfer window because we're not going to get all the players that we want to get. So look, I know how I want the team to look for next season, and we want to play a brand of football that people want to come and watch and get behind, but ultimately it's about getting players that can win games at this level, and that's what we're trying to do.
And that's all from me for today's sport. I'll be back tomorrow with all the latest sports news from across our region. Back to Hugh in the studio.
Thanks very much, Jack. Just a reminder, that's Team GYB on Facebook or Just Giving. If you'd like to help the chaps out on their hectic drive through Europe and help out Women Cancer, they're setting off on the 21st of July. If you have any other stories like that or any other sort for us, then Facebook and Twitter are available. Email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 31 553 or write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN 34 5BQ. Until tomorrow, good evening.